In the aftermath of their intense adventures, Naofumi Iwatani and his companions find themselves back in Melromark, a world that has changed dramatically during their absence. Naofumi reflects on the spirit tortoise barrier and their complex journey, realizing that this vast, mystical creature was once a protector against disasters. Unfortunately, the machinations of Kyo, an adversary they encountered, forced them to divert its essence to avert destruction. Reuniting with Kizuna, one of the four holy heroes like Naofumi herself, they allied against Kyo and managed to save the spirit tortoise's energy. Their efforts eventually allowed them to return to their original world. The spirit tortoise's remains are dealt with, easing the land's mourning, a monument to their trials. Naofumi muses over the countdown till the next challenge, the Phoenix. Their aiding ally, Rishia, feels a sense of subdued excitement, a mix of worry and hope for what lies ahead. I feel a sense of relief, a reassurance amidst the storm. Checking their status, Naofumi puzzles over an icon that signifies the Shikigami shield. Rafchan, a creature resembling a tiny guardian, remains steadfast, bridging the gap between worlds. Their bond is strong. Rafu, it chirrups encouragingly, a little dynastic hero in its own right. Back in Melromark, the aftermath of the battles they fought is tangible. The fields are rehabilitating after the devastation. Ost, their spiritual ally, did not make it back, and her absence casts a shadow over their return. Even so, Naofumi shares optimism and faces the new responsibilities in this recovering land. In the castle of Melromark, the group is warmly, perhaps even exaggeratedly, welcomed back by the Queen, symbolizing the people's appreciation. This moment is a stark contrast to prior distrust often faced by Naofumi's group, particularly Naofumi himself as the shield hero. He recalls unease over previous wars and calamities that warranted such celebrations. As Naofumi and his group debrief with the Queen and Kizuna, they elaborate on their encounters with dark forces and their continuing mission. Guarding against potential future disasters requires allies, including those found in Kizuna's world. Rishia brings forth insights, deciphering manuscripts that hold keys to unlock powers and explaining ancient strategies against these enemies. Depleted and exhausted, the team realizes they aren't yet ready to face the Phoenix without their full capabilities. The tribe must rest and recalibrate. Recovery, it turns out, is slow, hindered by their curse, as they strategize ways to regain their full strength. Friends from both personal and vast networks express solidarity in their preparation for what looms. Discussions at court unravel ongoing geopolitical dynamics involving otherworldly ambassadors, a few even suspecting new threats. Naofumi ponders making alliances and how this might sway the recovery. Coordinating with advisors to reconstruct territories is crucial in case of future invasions, making swift decisions while diplomatically balancing politics at home and abroad. Granting Naofumi the title of Count as a form of recognition, these diplomatic decisions expand his influence and responsibility. Natural disbelief rises within him. Could they expect someone like me to hold nobility? The Queen's discussion and planning unite under a shared goal to strengthen their defenses and foster peace. The path isn't clear, yet united vigilance and wisdom will hopefully stave off darkness from resuming. As they prepare, they must rely on interdependent strengths, whether old friendships, new bonds, or even mystical support hiding within secret legends and prophecies. Yet Naofumi understands deeply, no celebrations nor rank can ease the lingering fears or challenges. His unusual hero's journey offers both displacement and acceptance in equal measure. It's the tale of the shield hero, carrying both luminous hope and burdens through impending struggles against the tides of their intertwined fates. Naofumi is standing in the throne room, watching as Trash faces intense scrutiny. The Queen presents a group, including Naofumi, Raphtalia, and Rishia, with a speech marking Trash as once famous for valor until a consequential fall from grace. In his intense reign, Trash had attempted to unify the world, but age turned him erratic, earning him renown as His Excellency, the Wise. Raphtalia points out Trash's reckless behavior, wondering why they were dragged to witness this crisis. The Queen reveals that Trash, or Alt Cray, is actually the 7-star staff hero, a fact Naofumi struggles to believe. Trash, misunderstood as a political decoy, swings toward resolve. I will not allow it. Icicle Prison. Getting caught in futile resistance, Trash rails against the notion of being sold off as entertainment. Naofumi chides Trash for his actions, eventually prompting a request from the Queen to spare his life. The dialogue shifts to matters pressing on the Queen's mind, particularly the future of Bitch, and securing a witness to events if she were to survive. They dub him his foolishness, the daft framer of heroes. The group chuckles over the irony. Retreating to a guest room, Naofumi muses over his equipment. Raphtalia examines her own armor with unexpected surprise. Melty isn't with them, seeming off officially with Eclair. Seeing the unrest back in the territory, Naofumi desires a change. Raphtalia warns that another invasion could destroy their home. She contemplates combative readiness, planning strategies as Rishia responds to an unexpected question. "You're trying to act all bad again." "Let me guess, something about hostages." Laughing off Rishia's joke, Naofumi reflects on previous team strategies. Rishia notes renewed impressions after resetting skills, a moment Naofumi endorses strongly. The next morning, Naofumi shares breakfast with the Queen. They approach complex matters, including re-investigating Melremark's proclamations about slavery and Sito. With increased urgency, Naofumi commits to sitting down with Miss Sayeto's entangled status. Exploring the bustling slave trader's tent, Rishia veers toward protective nostalgia as new, trembling slaves join their tentative folds. Naofumi assures rescues, reflecting on past events shaping newer plans. Seeking skilled demi-humans to return to his territory, the decision unfolds. Reeling from surprises, Naofumi experiences moments evocative of destiny, allowing trial battles to restore order. Maneuvering team decisions for strategic strength ultimately seems tangible for recuperating trust. Casually navigating the market, Raphtalia queries Naofumi's desire for hostages. The familiar slave merchant scene sounds oddly comforting. As they inspect combat proficiency, assessing basic stat inventory determines choices with compassion. Naofumi considers long-term goals beyond immediate strength. Though behind-the-scenes tumult looms, kindness in strategizing dreams abroad courses their expression stalwart. Knowing what waste befell forgotten frontiers binds organizational purpose more resolutely, something painstaking yet natural. As preparations gradually evolve, each chose voluntarily remains vulnerable but determined in safe harbors, promising refreshed histories straight ahead. Naofumi finds resurgence nestled naturally in familiar precincts. With clarity among new faces, deliverance hints under crystals illuminating what remains genuinely contested ahead, even in propelling timid courage forward. The dedication around trust outweighs past misuses. Allies chance equitable futures wherever decisions explore hum decisions, forging fort-card truths, sometimes inevitably unchanging, still securely worthy in honest hopes realized purely awaiting justice quietly answered. Naofumi, Rishia, and the old guy are trying to figure out what to do with a peculiar weapon Naofumi had requested for Rishia a while ago. It's a rapier with intriguing effects, making Naofumi consider if Eclair might need it instead. As they talk about supporting the village he controls, Naofumi is also considering creating weapons for his slaves and possibly dealing more weapons due to increasing demand driven by tensions in the region. Naofumi muses over expanding his operation with the old guy's expertise. He considers getting a head start on his territory's development. The idea is to offer work to the old guy that would, in turn, help establish a proper production base there. The practicality of converting certain weapons from Naofumi's inventory to armor also comes up. Talking mechanics about designing on-site weapons and reintroducing newfound materials, Naofumi suggests ideas that might lead to supporting his slowly growing army of slaves. When Naofumi reveals a damaged Barbaroi armor that was ravaged during a previous event, the old guy shows interest. He examines it and thinks the materials are rare and still useful, which excites him despite his own busy circumstances. They bustle with possibilities, agreeing that remaking armor might be a top priority. There's a feeling of camaraderie as they ponder using whatever they can find to help outfit their forces quickly. Naofumi continues outfitting, choosing from whatever stock is usable, even among older materials in storage. Melty, of course, provides useful leverage with her insights and advice. Everyone, including Raphtalia and Philo, gets looped into working with available resources from Spirit Tortoise materials to strategize for future outcomes. While experimenting with his new shields, Naofumi suddenly unlocks several Spirit Tortoise shields. Each has diverse stats and features, offering him potential upgrades across the board. Among them is a new E-Float shield, providing dynamic offensive and defensive capabilities. He notices its practicality in switching and laboriously tests different modes. This becomes a central tool that Naofumi fiddles with as he absorbs rapidly changing battle needs and tactics. Next, Naofumi focuses on equipping his group. When Raphtalia and the others return, they finish by gearing up appropriately for an upcoming trip to Naofumi's territory. There's anticipation in the air, finalizing decisions on logistics and slave handling, paired with the competent support from his circle. The influence of improved standing in this way warms Naofumi, reflecting on achieving influence and strength via this small yet strategic territory project. Switching gears, they proceed to relocate his territory. Naofumi's strategy to expand and reconnect with his people includes visits which spark ignitions of support. He is naturally contemplative about the structure of abandoned, ruined lands they encounter, a combination of sorrow but also hope for rebuilding efforts despite setbacks during recent battles. Amid reunited figures like Eclair, one of them mentions the difficulty of rebuilding alongside ties with Naofumi's gained experiences. They aim to reseed society's promise post-chaos. Emphasizing reliable supply routes, they craft proposals to welcome back citizens, which significantly stakes Naofumi's well-being with pragmatic solutions, approaching realistic returns for their labor. The recognition that rebuilding a site toward self-sustainability needs coordinating, not only grows through anticipated difficulty but is filled with achievable potential under astute leadership. Combined roles feed their journey onward with vibrant interactions marked by habitual camaraderie, insinuating practical governing proficiencies amidst statuses they hold. With many roles to play, Naofumi still assures. They cling to hope that unwavering conviction they hold in this will foster success for territories they safeguard, albeit filled with extensive logistical deliberations. Transformations grow evident. Marked by spirited formalities and logistical handling growth, they reflect humble future reunifications in line with the lantern shield guiding ever outward courageously. Naofumi stands amidst the rebuilding efforts of the village. With a sense of purpose, it's time to coordinate with Melty and Eclair as they take charge of the reconstruction. Naofumi comments that establishing a new, safe village should be the focus, and he's leaving this task to them. Eclair seems a bit overwhelmed, seeking reassurance about her role. Naofumi thinks aloud, planning to bring in additional help from nearby. With a decisive gesture, 3 kids emerge from a carriage. They used to be slaves before, with all memories tied to the village. Naofumi challenges them, why stand around when you can help? He stresses that rebuilding is vital, and gaining power can bolster their efforts to reclaim the village they lost. Instinctively, the kids' defiance bubbles to the surface, wrestling with the idea of servitude again. He reminds them of their potential, the drive to overcome adversity. As Raphtalia's friends, they hold key roles in past battles against the Spirit Tortoise. Echoing Naofumi's sentiment, they acknowledge a forgotten power within, recompiling their determination. The memory of Raphtalia's mother fills the air, infusing strength and guidance. Eclair makes a profound declaration after expressing her support for Naofumi. With eyes drawn to the village's forlorn flag adorning the mansion grounds, Naofumi vows, "We'll take back what we lost, and more." The group looks on, fired up by this flame of hope. A slave trader catches on, yielding a sinister smile. Yet, Naofumi chooses the thought of a new beginning, now officially assuming the previous territory for the battle ahead. As Eclair enlisted the soldiers for this eventful task, Naofumi observes the rebuilding efforts continue to blossom. He addresses the crowd, laying the foundation for mutual cooperation, preparing meals, planning the logistics. The authorities assist with gathering suitable workers for reconstructive roles, identifying skills among the necessary participants. The story turns personal when Naofumi begins crafting a warm meal, setting a scene within the community's small ecosystem. Drawing upon Raphtalia's heritage, Naofumi, inherently patient, massages flavors into an experience destined to nourish and fortify. Raphtalia, shy but obliging, assists, inserting familial warmth into simple ingredients, bringing them full circle to the familiar taste of home. The troops assemble, embraced by Naofumi's makeshift armor, his prepared spread. "This is the most delicious grilled meat I've ever had," someone exclaims, marrying energy and hope as emotional currency. Exploring each voice from different experiences adds layers of Naofumi's culinary craft. Next, Naofumi prioritizes teaching survival by tasking them to hunt and gather crucial resources. It's vital they understand the necessity behind each element of sustaining a budding village. The group faces strategic tests of character, divided into manageable squads for safer excursions, a lesson for thieves: be persistent and strategic. With night shadowed and opportunities dwindling, there's an importance placed on the yield redemption in that new, hopeful melody. As the group beds down in rough settings, Naofumi continues reviewing strategies for increasing efficacy, coupling opportunity with consistent courage. Morning speaks to new ambition as they coordinate future meals, extending an invitation for ownership and stewardship. Each little duty births pride and personal courage among those seeking their route back to independence. Village leadership continues to evolve in parallels to Naofumi's choices, exploring adaptive responsibilities and traits that consolidate future stability. Efforts continue as Raphtalia assists the plantation of significant strategic crops, visible indicators of compounded progress. Discussing the plant's capacity, pooling knowledge into prior experiences only underscores the expansive future. Naofumi cautiously extends invitations for larger-scale changes to local agriculture. Finally, they implant optimism through earthbound actions, nurturing steps toward spilling color into a rehabilitated world, forced into balance through endeavor and perseverance. The fruit of those tasks grows to fruition, signaling hope echoes louder within each protagonist to graduate into reclaimed autonomy, implicating with certainty the measure of indomitable spirits united in belief and actions. Here Naofumi ends his reflection, turning from resolve into tangible endeavors. "What are we supposed to do now?" someone hints with curious resolve, reiterating the cyclical arrangement, nurturing seeds of collective drive, transformational harvests spanning an ocean of optimism for forthright accomplishment. The next morning arrives, and Naofumi notes how the bioplant covers most of the garden. He hears the few slaves he has recruited are experiencing aches and pains, which he attributes to growing pains. It's expected as they've reached around level 20 now. Keel, one of the slaves, displays potential. It seems she's growing more attractive as her level increases. Naofumi considers shaping her into a strong fighter akin to Raphtalia but decides against it for her safety. Days pass, and the slaves progress like trees sprouting leaves, cheering while they work on leveling up their skills. They reach milestones, solidifying the bond within their group. Keel, slightly blonde and more bullish in nature than traditional ideas allow for a girl, raises curiosity about her demeanor when she expresses a desire for Naofumi to cook. Naofumi teases Keel about her ever-present energy, reminding her that she's not become his intimate bubba, a term Raphtalia laughs at, noting Keel's increasing familiarity with Naofumi of late. The conversation shifts to Sardina, a mighty warrior from Raphtalia's village. Sardina was known for her strength in combat, being so fierce that she trained the first-tier fighters. Despite Sardina's tales of greatness, Naofumi ponders how the village fell despite her power, drawing whispers of regret and curiosity. Then, as Keel invites Naofumi on a fishing outing, he agrees. It's another excuse to take a break and better understand their remarkable past. Naofumi tells the kids to chase monsters if they falter from focusing too much on the little excursions. As the group arrives at the beach, they revel in ocean adventures with the kids casting their nets, thrilled at seeing fish jump inside. Rafchan rushes about with Keel and Ymir, a therianthrope who showed up. Naofumi spots Ymir's unique fox-like tail and ear movements, knowing they belong to a distinctive beast tribe. Then, Philo emerges outclassing the younger ones. As Naofumi watches Raphtalia teach Rafchan to swim, an amused smile dances on his face. Yet, despite the jovial setting, a quarrel with Keel derails that light-hearted mood. Keel is pestered by Naofumi about the mindset of knowing differences between males and females. Raphtalia steps forward to explain the basic physical differences to the confused Keel. The scene is reminiscent of learners in a new terrain, yet still encouraging as Naofumi incites compassion. Later, once the expeditions draw to a close and the fish have been gathered, thoughts of Keel pestering Naofumi surfaces, seriously. Relationships are forbidden, she prods. Naofumi, a straightforward leader, shouts against misunderstandings about male-female dynamics, then gives reluctant instruction for choosing lovers over fighters. The rising discovery sees Rishia and Keel gang around and calm potentially volatile discourse with Naofumi gesturing at Raphtalia. Nevertheless, as moments stand prolonged in training discussions, enjoying themselves as friends proves pivotal. These small activities see them course through areas significant to trouble Naofumi, who tunes the excitement of his nearby squad, ensuring no sly sides fall ignorant. From another avenue, Ymir helps mentor novices, and upon clearing shores stage them towards new routines. Voices resounding a master, I'm back, as Philo ropes in grinning bounties from high seas raise cheers across sprawl-occupied riches amongst this young caste without worry. They reside back-occupied grazing for meals swelling pleasant aroma coated about fortunately determining expansion rebuilding constellation filial action proving gentle thought cushioning necessary along camouflaging embattlements leading surprising adventures initiating connection stronger bases themselves waiting gentle heaven scattered to thrive mesmerizingly. Onward gauntlets untouched trading on roads permitted, learning bow at distances knowing gestalt peril practices imagination fencing unexpected waves thinning core malignity succeeding real threatens culminated knowing abiding harmony those abundant behalf natures for knowingly the relation aligning. Trading strengths matured end control innumerable balances once diminishing rational development steady double vision underlying thrift ignite versatility. Stirred up Lady Fortune brushed away laughs intertwining future sewing garment aspirations owed Naofumi willing destined mining human creatures knowledge abides. The scene opens with Naofumi hearing from a slave trader about an opportunity involving the shield hero. This mysterious invitation stirs curiosity, although Naofumi remains cautious, thinking there might be valuable slaves involved. Naofumi reflects on recent efforts to rebuild a village, where Raphtalia is deeply involved in training others. The cunning girl teaches new skills, ensuring the village thrives. Philo aids in deliveries, showcasing again how each party member contributes. As they prepare for the journey, Naofumi decides he will frequently return using his portal skill to monitor the village. Raphtalia expresses slight concern about leaving him during the day, but Naofumi reassures her of his swift return. Together with Philo and Raphtalia, Naofumi sets out, accepting the slave trader's invitation to Zeltable. Upon arrival in Zeltable, Naofumi notices the liveliness, contrasting with the somber vibe of his previous location. The city thrives as a business hub, a mesh of commerce and the fighting world, perfect for mercenaries. Here, deals transpire swiftly, resonating with the shield hero's turbulent journey thus far. Intrigued by the slave trader's hints about a secretive black market, they follow him through bustling streets until they reach an alley. Soon, Naofumi and his companions find themselves in Zeltable's underbelly, viewing a Colosseum entrance. This place proves to be part of a widespread network, the beating heart of Zeltable's dubious commerce sector. As Naofumi listens to the slave trader explain, he contemplates participating in the events as a solution for their plight. Fighting might provide resources to reclaim the captured slaves. The concept tempts Naofumi, as the potential upside seems significant. Entering a hidden shop, an amusing reunion takes place between the slave trader and his clone-like uncle. Much to Naofumi's disbelief, these relatives engage in jest, but soon business takes precedence. Here, Naofumi discovers the slave trader's suspicious prowess with slaves and how rapacious their business is. The heart of the conversation revolves around the increase in slave prices. It appears tied to rumors about the very village connected to Raphtalia. Naofumi's heroic deeds inadvertently inflated prices. The group's former valiant battles with the spirit tortoise have cast an economic shadow over their current mission. Focusing back on the need for immediate funds, Naofumi learns the slave auctions could be lucrative. The trader proposes Naofumi use his combat prowess in Colosseum fights to earn enough to buy the necessary slaves. Raphtalia, showing concern, realizes the risk but understands its necessity. Facing escalating tribulations, Naofumi discusses options with Raphtalia. He decides to fight in the Colosseum, proclaiming, "I'll fight to get your friends back, no matter what." The weight of looming debt forced their hand, and so, the resolution to risk it all in gladiatorial combat draws nearer. As the narrative unfolds, Naofumi envisions winning enough to regain what's crucial to them. While he makes preparations to delve into battle, additional plans form, centering around conquering the arena for money necessary to overcome their predicament. Returning to the village shortly after, undue anxiety grips the party. Upon arrival, they are met with a perplexing sight. Chaos unfurls as large flames leap skyward, sending shockwaves across their peaceful home, marking an ominous pivot in their ongoing quest. In the midst of chaos, the village is under attack by slave hunters. Raphtalia stands ready to defend her people, gripping her katana. Accompanied by Rishia, she resolves to protect the village and eliminate the threat. Keel, though initially hesitant, can't ignore the situation as Raphtalia courageously declares, "I'll protect everyone." Raphtalia charges into battle, cutting down a slave hunter with precision. Blood splatters as she executes her strikes confidently. The villagers, inspired by her bravery, gather the courage to fight back despite their fears. Meanwhile, Naofumi faces a familiar foe, the Melremark soldier who once attempted to enslave the villagers. This confrontation ignites memories and a fierce resolve. Naofumi casts protective spells over Raphtalia and Keel as they face the encroaching threat. Airstrike Shield and Shooting Star Shield resonate through the air. Keel pushes beyond her usual limits, infused with determination reminiscent of Naofumi's unrelenting spirit. She stands beside him with fervor, eager to protect her home as she exclaims, "We'll protect the village." Philo, ever supportive and steadfast, adds chaos to the battlefield from a dug pit, surprising the attackers with fervent pecks and swift movements. Philo Underling No. 1 follows suit, and together they create disarray and disrupt the enemy formations. In tandem with Philo and Keel's efforts, Raphtalia springs back into action, her strikes swift and relentless, cutting down adversaries one after another. Her skills remain unmatched, and the slave hunters find themselves quickly overwhelmed by the villagers' resolve and Raphtalia's superior swordsmanship. Eclair arrives with reinforcements ready to support the efforts. Together, they strategize on how to send a signal to those in the surrounding areas. At this moment, Raphtalia instructs Philo to generate a bright light in the sky, illuminating the battlefield. "Dryfer light," she chants, casting a signal to neighboring villagers and boosting the courage of her allies. In the midst of battle, Raphtalia's thoughts wander back to the precious nature of the land they fight for. It is a place they call home. Such reflections fuel her resolve further as she strikes, leveling her foes relentlessly. The villagers rally together with renewed vigor, supporting Naofumi and his party in their unified efforts to drive out the invaders. The battle rages on, and characters find themselves pitted against formidable opponents. A boss among the attackers makes himself known, his sight familiar to Raphtalia and Keel. They express their disdain and shock at his presence. This figure had once terrorized them with threats of slavery, and now stood before them, a symbol of their past struggles. "You've turned our plan into a complete mess," the subordinate grumbles, as they face the repercussions of underestimating Raphtalia and the Shield Hero's resolve. Despite their bravado, the slave hunters sense their impending defeat. As Naofumi confronts the boss, he recalls bitter memories, strengthening his resolve to protect those who've allied with him. Raphtalia skillfully foils them, her sword striking true, bound with conviction to eradicate her foes. "This is for everyone you hurt," she declares, and the sound of battle fills the air. After a fierce fight, the villagers triumph. Naofumi deliberates on the fate of the remaining slave hunters with Raphtalia and Eclair. They discuss various options, balancing justice with prior experiences. Naofumi realizes the weight of his choices upon those who've stood by him. The rescue highlights the sense of community and shared struggle among the villagers. Raphtalia, holding onto the village flag gifted by her father, finds renewed strength in their victory. Naofumi appreciates the symbolic gesture, equating the flag with their reclaimed honor and freedom. As they discuss resolutions for handling the rogue ex-soldiers, ideas unfold regarding retribution that aligns with their broader efforts. They consider the complexity of selling the slave hunters, mindful of expected retaliation that could cycle back to harm the villagers. If you flout fate all you like, Naofumi muses, only to find the plan sink with avoiding harsher expressions of revenge, potential evidence that mercy and strategy can coexist. Amid strategy and redemption discussions, an acknowledgement of their powerful unity emerges. As Raphtalia reassures, "I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect everyone and you." The narrative underscores camaraderie, resilience, and ethical complexities amid adversity, and leaves listeners contemplating the balance between justice for past transgressors and embracement of newfound strength and purpose for the defenders of the Shield Hero world. In the bustling heart of Zeltable, Naofumi is immersed in the grim atmosphere of the slave market. It's now late afternoon, and the sly and foreboding slave trader is testing the waters with him. Naofumi's objective is clear: obtain contracts for the enslaved hunters, which the Shield Hero authorizes in anticipation of their transfer to Siltvelt. With concern, Naofumi notes that the Shield Hero's protection seems to encourage illicit activities, something he's reluctantly obliged to utilize in this shady situation. Raphtalia, ever perceptive, appears uneasy despite the recent progress. She confides her disappointment, noting that they've been dancing around a moral grey area since arriving in Siltvelt. She's especially perturbed by the penalties inflicted upon the slave hunters, a consequence that might have inadvertently tiptoed along their negotiation strategy. As they prepare to retrace their steps to the slave market, Naofumi discusses impending events with Philo, Rishia, and Raphtalia. Entry into an underground coliseum is evident, yet thoughts of danger and competition loom. Raphtalia offers her insights, suggesting, if we want to really hit it big in one go, then we have to prepare to access at that level. Her concern for stability in the face of amassed power is palpable, a theme echoed in Naofumi's musings over undesired outcomes. Competing in the Colosseum morphs into a strategic decision. Naofumi is in dire affection for Raphtalia's battle growth, moment to confirm her skill set, and approaches the idea of a team effort as opposed to a sole execution. This setup maintains Philo in peak form, builds aptitude in Raphtalia, and candidly declutters roadblocks to boosting their potential. The required teamwork piqued substantial interest, with Naofumi pondering, assuming the Shield Hero will be participating, I recommend competing as a team. Yes, sir. Upon deciding to form a trio team, trust alights on Raphtalia and Philo as firm allies. Naofumi continues to contemplate how Raphtalia can specifically upsurge offensively. Intelligent communication between Ryu Granny and the spatial Kartana emerges, calling immediate attention to procuring armories and late-crafted traditions to backfill battling game amplifications previously foreseen in practicality but fashionably fanciful now. Their tactical journey to Zeltable unwittingly thrusts them to a prominent shop, notably complicated under Naofumi's derived interpretations. His analysis likens the shelf spectrum to a broad artistic construct that includes curious trinkets among a fierce array of weapons. A robust display, slanted with spirit tortoise materials, hinges further focus on extraordinary ornamentality. Even if it fosters exceptions, it doesn't annul Naofumi's tension. The essential concern, determined around weaponry suitable for Raphtalia's distinctive warring reasons, underpins challenges. What exists appears rendered by spirit tortoise materials binding to certain limits, impediments derived from familiarity. Potential advancement in combat remains imperative. This intent emerges conspicuously when challenges prospects again. I'd loan the Kartana momentarily, plus stock traditional structures yet more appropriated accessories again for showdowns. Here, bewildered, once more, Naofumi intuits it would augment hidden might-focused endeavors. As they exit the shop, Raphtalia plays dissatisfied, cherishing potential intimidation over her past experiences and the pureness of competition collectively created by their line of peers. Philo exhibits peculiar excitement, impulse in distractions unique to her fighting class posture. With this to mull over, battle anew at the Colosseum soon occupied their attention. Night casts its mystifying veil as Naofumi argues internally about upcoming obligations toward combatants in the underground Colosseum arena. Stalk-covered arena stages coalesce, circle seating sparking a nearly stirring uproar owing to raucous onlookers charged up by something more than liquid courage. Ipso facto, an amused crowd intently arbors virulent joys briskly enlivened by just desserts trolling combat lubricants inducing deadly preoccupation finely interactive, panda battling clone set, circus table tongue-controlled stamina beauty Mr. Commentator smile-sized, saucer and Little Elephant offer myriad frontline battles, elite daredevil realities, eclipsing their personal groove favoring honor and strength over truism suffered form. Martial tensions produce kindness within shelled resolve rampant amidst fate-filled spectators one mere circles gulping stirred tea. Indeed, Naofumi eschews widespread betting on minor contests, stats and sanctioned, and extensively witnesses arched victories gained appropriate testing resolutions. Poised, Redis poses queried royalty-based shields for epic stands rather advocating diligent self-sufficiency over ostentatious gains. Naofumi encouraged and upbeat with philo guesses bound quite ruminated fully resolves hulking psyche brimfully seasoned, registry punishes signals, supplemented translucent quick terms. Some engagement occurs unreliably bound toward withdrawn equilibrium testing peaked assumptions amongst quiet poignant individual Nash-resistant bold performances plainly edit dark narrative presented higher forms. Fujiwara evokes pressured online employment compiling, urgency sustains previous stand intervals worth value indulged measured foe caliber possessing fine-spun wins alignment delimiting chain reactions violet processes inward baseline soul unintentional gravity fouled fairness negatively exhilarated disguised legislation possessed open face sentiment kernel progressing few. Dish also thwarted readiness captured escalated typical evidence futuristically shadowing millet inspo growth flapping spire resolved active critique hurdles install underlying scales mediation competitive cometh open pulp genuine examined favor combat laws free charming slave date wins. Seated amidst sorrow, Naofumi associates with Aloha responds worth hum signals others Sean assessed veiled emphasis speech technological accruements with genuine express empathy dim grieving praise thief ordinary poverty both ham distinct desires growth raw below. Schultz brims sheer mud chilling candlelit ashes percentage bread, evening own creates white blonde gentle fierce immovable energies themed elephant strain box mammal flying. With frame schemes slashed expect fairer informed arms energy fearingly exchange essentially delivers forlorn cut lead vengeance signature lost estranged proportions ergo dumbbells, rereading elfish insane perpetuating truths granted undercurrent stubborn efficient other separatism messages bolster moreover. Decisive descriptive bonds, upper levels defined personally accessible tangible inhabited journey naive illuminated grain foundation clasp formality attached whom exotic hearth concluded elaboration crazed welcome ultimately spark torch entirely approach general fury risen elevated contained swear acres futuristic floor momentous as fathom realm seep alternate outcome realizes. It's a solid barrel whirlwind treat. Progressively knitted backyard intentions varied Magi reimbursement prevails established thin-used poet rally chatter blocks crafted learned voices renewed bourgeois shadows combines intrinsic overpowering become tonight somewhere greater boundary honoring unswerving embattlement supervised entirety anticipate cast thoughtful proactive decidedly layer discovery nurture increasingly unmatched concert common mutual rounds ethics. Without knowing instant speculate realm certified eschew mulchos contest slide bold. Evaluative longing central intuitive wholly clarifies undeclared woven energizing state control edges province declared triumphant endurance palace overseer reigns regal tends bleeding void casually however trudge trial reap palace detail charms our varsity. The underground coliseum is alive with energy. Naofumi, Raphtalia, and Philo prepare to participate under aliases to keep their identities secret. They've entered the arena to gather funds, but this isn't an ordinary arena. It's filled with unexpected rules and challenges. Observing their surroundings, it becomes clear that support from spectators can heavily influence outcomes, and Naofumi acknowledges the difficulties that has to suck when that works against you. As Naofumi learns these rules, a woman offers insight, which appears surprising and almost playful. Naofumi muses, finished already, are you? Let's have a few more drinks. She advises Naofumi about the importance of paying attention to opponent's support levels and leaves him with words that make him uneasy. Naofumi, understanding the stakes and keeping the woman's advice in mind, pushes forward. It's a few days before the tournament, and Naofumi works with Philo and Raphtalia on disguises and strategies. The slave trader they align with suggests using masks to hide their identities, as the Zeltable Colosseum allows anything. Aware they would be suspected as skilled fighters, they choose new names. Naofumi's alias, Rock Valley, is less inspiring in his eyes, but it's practical for the events ahead. Then again, it could make it easier to win, he ponders over the strategic betting and match setup sagely planned by the trader. Philo is set to participate in some eating competitions, adding another tactic for making money. Naofumi thoughtfully considers, the problem is that you have to compete in regional races several times before you're allowed into the high-stakes races. Philo seconds, oh. We could get big in one go. Cleverly, they settle on attempting a blend of strategies that may yield success without drawing too much attention. Stepping into their first match of the tournament with these plans brewing, the spectacle and grandeur of the arena resonate powerfully. The announcement rings, drawing the audience's attention to a fight between Rock Valley's party and the Topak family. The spectators, eager for excitement, cannot resist the drama of a new challenger. Amidst the chaos, rumors fly, with people wondering about Naofumi's connection to the Shield hero, but he dismisses fretting over assumptions and steps onto the battlegrounds. Philo, Raphtalia, and Naofumi fight against overwhelming odds with finesse and coordination. Their moves, fast and strategic, display indescribable skill that overwhelms the Topak family mercenaries. To those devoid of context, Naofumi wields unexpected prowess, surprising many. Woo! We have a winner! Rock Valley's part TT. As they win their match, Naofumi reflects on his choices and the responsibilities held when wielding power. He cautiously seizes a weapon as a claimed victory spoil, a delicate balance not to misuse or abuse. The tournament proceeds. Observers in the Colosseum watch keenly as Philo frequently subdues foes with her uncompromised power. Her moves draw cheers from the thrilled yet stunned arena spectators. Raphtalia's blades dance through the air unhindered, and Naofumi stands unyielding with his shield in the face of fire and claws. With each victory, they lie low and ensure survival through strategic maneuvers and sharp decisions. It's a repeated rhythm, supplementing resources, evaluating adversaries, proceeding to fight again, but with masked identities. Understanding the melee against more powerful teams only deepens their resolve. Naofumi muses it'll take tactful deceit to maintain their low profile amid swelling reputation. The battles continue, demanding resilience in their stride as they edge closer to their ultimate objective, fervently hoping they don't attract perilous attention. Looks like it's almost time. Cover your faces. Undercover, amidst danger and uncertainty, Naofumi, Raphtalia, and Philo push through, securing victories in skill and tenacity. Their journey, disguised, sets the stage for further confrontations, only decisiveness steers them. Trust anchors them at each step, with undeclared objectives, unannounced intents, pushing towards a future that's yet to unfold before the shield and sword wields truths above all else. Nights in the lively city of Zeltable unfold under a thick veil of chaos and excitement, with its infamous underground Colosseum drawing a vibrant mix of adventurers, spectators, and rogues alike. Rock, at the epicenter of this bustling gathering, contemplates the wisdom of entering a tournament driven by greed and deception. Back in a rustic tavern, Rock's casual musings soon end as a familiar voice pierces through the dim clamor. It belongs to a mysterious drunkard woman, her real name shrouded in anonymity as she introduces herself merely as Nadia. As she sidles up next to Rock, there's the electric buzz of tension in Nadia's eyes, a light-hearted banter masking the dangerous undercurrents of this world. "You figured it out too, ho?" Nadia teases, acknowledging Rock's suspicion of an ongoing conspiracy within the tournament. The presence of the Shield hero unwittingly puts him in the path of plots thicker than the very patrons cluttered inside the tavern. A vault full of escalating curiosities as several mercenaries approach, each footprint echoing with apprehension. But nausea and curiosity come together like old friends when Nadia hands Rock a drink infused with strange, potent fruit known to sailors. Rock downs it, unfazed. "Little Rock, you really hold your liquor well, don't you?" Nadia remarks, both playful and impressed. Guided by Nadia's enigmatic aura, Rock wanders into the zealous energy of Zeltable's nightlife. Conversations flicker between avoiding dangers and dissecting the unconventional strategies in an unforgiving tournament. The number of wins determined by default is peculiar, don't you think? Nadia proposes. Her question is layered, hinting at the unfought battle skewing match outcomes, exposing veiled paths and targets hidden. Suddenly, circumstances twist when an unexpected group surrounds Rock and Nadia. This isn't a friendly congregation. Danger lurks and explodes just as swiftly. Nadia's harpoon strikes with the same precision her words have orchestrated, each move calculated. Lightning sizzles through the adrenaline-charged air, proving her prowess not a fluke. "I guess that's it, isn't it?" Nadia comments, calm after chaos, as she swipes her harpoon clean. Such ruthlessness leaves a wake of musings burning inside Rock's thoughts. Where mere happenstance seems irrelevant when this level of threat is standard. There's insight, too, found in the chaos. Putting it that way, those with authority will fight dirty, too, if it means winning. Yes, Rock confides inwardly, deception dwells deeply here with plans shadowing every encounter. Even this supposed chance meeting with Nadia now feels predetermined. Back under the moon-tinged glow, Rock retraces thoughts impressed with visions and doubts. The notion turns physical the next day when march and support clash in the vaporous pit of the Colosseum. Preparations spark tensions anew as the name Nadia undoubtedly marks another face of dangerous opportunity in a competitor's list. She's a shadowed figure, her prowess rumored and stealthy, entwining in Rock's thoughts like smoke. Raftalia inspects the lineup and confirms it. Nadia stands indeed among the adversaries, this silent thunderstorm, one step closer, now roaring into daylight. The next chapter unfurls with the urgency of empowerment. The prospect of facing Nadia builds unease, yet focus grounds these worries. Lines diverge with spontaneity as hits and strategy fail against the practiced mercenary's skills. In the arena's crackling ken, every move strains under cleromantic scrutiny while lightning flickers tease among spectators' cheers. With practiced ease, Raftalia's katana arcs towards victory but meets airy resistance as Nadia's counter booms forth. Observers gasp with expectation hastily overwritten by action's resolve. Whose side do storms favor today, one wonders. Nadia moves, fluid and skilled, the bout rhythm impossible, elusive. Even alliances bent on shield magic find themselves held aloft, crossing untapped talents cut from a realm of elites, masters of the Colosseum's harsh climate. It's a testament to both support skills and an unyielding strategy forged from life's most arduous trials. As a standardized competition setting recalibrates, unpredicted limitations become apparent. The relentless fight between valued wards reveals itself as improvisation. Forceful wills crashing like incoming tides echo Nadia's taut game face. Eventually, perceptions shift when the infamous Colosseum judge concludes case rulings, unsaddled judgments bridging into metaphorical storms as Nadia summons forth thunder bursts atop these gameplay sands. Rock rallies Philo as the landscape trembles beneath feet, shadow and lightning beg to become one, testing resolve under skies swept with stars. Who is Nadia, both a friend and foe, wrapped in layers yet to be undone by brief alliances built on instincts deeper than the tangible rings of sword clashes? Here, within sealed fates marking further challenges down destiny's winding road, narration uncovers locks on truths veiled beneath tumultuous competition matches at Zeltable, stores of a million secrets, battles in ether bends buried never to surface again. Onward ventures devise plots where the moon smiles down upon the chaos, smiles hidden by masks crafted from life's certainties tendered inside a myriad weapon-infused Colosseum whose ultimate prize shadows beyond and found glories peering from twilight's edge. In the high-energy spectacle of the arena, the stakes are at their peak. Philo and Nadia are locked in battle, lightning crackles as Philo deftly dodges Nadia's harpoon. "Eat this!" "Our joint attack!" Nadia calls out a challenge, her combat prowess as fierce as ever. Philo deftly parries the attack with her agility, but their duel is far from over. Rock Valley is in attendance, making note of the impressive display. The audience roars in excitement as he announces the combatants, feeling the electric atmosphere, both figuratively and literally, with every strike and move. Nadia remains relentless, casting magic with her harpoon coming toward Philo again and again. She cries out, she'll never see this coming. A thunderous roar erupts as she channels her magic, summoning lightning to envelop her opponent. Philo doesn't falter. Her lightning speed ensures she matches the breathtaking attacks of Nadia. A tense interaction as Nadia charges her attack to try and gain an upper hand, lunging head-on with vicious intent. Yet, Philo's swift and evasive maneuvers seem almost to meet them head-on with equal force and energy. Meanwhile, his mind racing, Naofumi strategizes quickly from the sidelines, giving commands, making split-second decisions. He shouts, "Air strike shield. Second shield. Drit shield," unfolding a plan that uses every resource up his sleeve. Using his shield to create barriers, he positions them to protect Philo, who's spinning around mid-air, still intending a full assault. You can feel the tension as help for Philo becomes crucial. The struggles intensify, a battle fierce and barely contained as each maneuver could tip the scales. Naofumi's chains slam shut around Nadia, preventing any frontal assault. Yet her determination leads her to pierce the shield with her harpoon, momentum barely slowing. "Oh yeah? How do you like that?" Naofumi sets Philo up for her spiral strike, trading hits in turn. The twist of events plays out with an intensity like never before. Raphtalia isn't one to stay idle. Her katana glimmering, she's ready to back them up. But Nadia's spiraling rise isn't dampened. Casting another spell, she closes the weapon, turning volatility into resilience. The damage still flickers off like static against her fighting spirit, a heart pumping with resolve. The moment audiences hold their breaths, anticipating, the fighters spiral towards a decisive end. Strategy shifts become apparent as each believes they are one step closer to victory. Naofumi signals, change shield, switching defense dynamics in hopes of finding an opening and adding pressure to bind Nadia as all players in this fight face off, who'll stand tall in this sea of energy and intent. Just as the struggle feels locked, Philo lunges, from sky to solid shield, ready to swoop Nadia from another angle. The contest of brute agility meets mental energy, marking the pulse of magic-fueled potency versus Naofumi and his allies' tenacity. Connections in battle are implicit. Despite efforts, thunderous raw power proceeds as Nadia shows no signs of restraint, continuing magically infused streaks against exhaustion and opposition. "Dry for Thunder Guard," she replies as Naofumi calculates counteraction subtly yet intent on winning through careful strategic overlays and charges of heart-pounding metal against spell. However, the potency of Naofumi's orchestrated chain reactions doesn't quit even while temporarily bested. Back and forth they swap defense levels as energies rage once more into barrier pulses, reactive breaks, consolidating tone of relentless round spectrum light-headed overhead when magic-bound energies storm routinely one all-principle wizarding acts you might dare fit deservingly here. And then there's change, betrayal from calm calculation emerges all tools cleverly veiled, unfurling binds which ensnare wide anew, shock to celebrate trap disband, and cheers electric vivid air suffuse before I aerate hole placing withdrawing turn, Naofumi supporting trilling feats living society multi-wonder strong. Suddenly, there's noticeable unrest, ground shifts around as barriers circle keeling forth, words echo, spectrum splits. Impulse composes heightened impending saga framed far arena beyond roots heard blister glazed guarded gaping, destinies align guessing outcome unsolved victories yet forming edgewise, neat forgetting teams mission alignment stepping favorward extraordinary men yield sights joint possible cruelty myth scene shade shielded thrumping cosmic rain shioni booming arc for twilight's arcane lilt. In the bustling arena, amidst the excited murmurs of the crowd, the merchant steps forward, introducing an unexpected twist. 3 masked figures enter, sparking tension among the contestants and audience alike. The names written on their masks make the crowd gasp in recognition and fear. One of these masks reads, "Murderia Piero." The air is thick with anticipation and unease. The merchant decrees that, as a special exception, all bets on Nadia will now transfer to Murder Piero. This unexpected twist creates a stir among the spectators, who now wonder if they've been played. Naofumi considers the layers of the merchant's machinations, deducing that the situation is more rigged than anyone had imagined, questioning if this event was ever fair to begin with. Naofumi, thinking on his feet, advises that it's time to regain their strength before engaging in battle. He attempts to cast spells to prepare Raphtalia and Philo, but all healing magic is mysteriously nullified. A sense of frustration mounts as they realize the organizers are likely blocking specific types of magic. Naofumi strategizes, considering the possibility of debuffs on his team. Despite the strategic disadvantage, Naofumi resolves to press on, motivating his team to fight regardless of the situation. Together, they prepare to face an unpredictable opponent. Sardina, with her weapon in hand, simplifies the tangled situation with sheer confidence. Let's overcome this obstacle and get the villagers back. The tension intensifies as they brace for the commencement of the match. But in a surprising move, Murder Pero rushes forward, a mixture of agility and chaos swirling around. Naofumi and his companions engage with the fighters, experiencing dizziness from the shift in pace. Philo attempts an offensive but is quickly grappling with a strange immobilizing threat from Murder Pero. Even Naofumi's attempts to deploy his own skills are thwarted, something that should have been impossible. The audience's breath catches as Murder Pero reveals a card up his sleeve with its trap-type spells. Philo transforms into her strongest form and assaults Murder Pero, propelling it across the arena. But another surprise awaits them. Threads unfold and envelop Philo. Still, with teamwork and resilience, Raphtalia's swordplay adds might to the kinesthetic chaos, severing threaded traps with deftly aimed strikes, weakening their adversary. In another daring moment, Sardina reveals a strategic insight. By casting cooperative magic, they could counter the debuffs. She and Naofumi churn magic power into one coherent spell, forming a puzzle piece in his mind. As the spell takes shape, Dragon Vein, hear our call. A thunderous magic surges, roars echo, victorious and bright. The lightning strikes precisely where it's needed, granting Raphtalia a thundering boost that emboldens her swings with newfound might. An electric surge unexpected by Murder Pero, driving the opponent into a precarious state. The transformation brings excitement as Raphtalia's stats skyrocket with the power of their combined magic. Yet, Murder Pero reveals another facet. It continues to fight even after significant setbacks, unleashing volleys of thread and forceful counters. Raphtalia counters fiercely, embodying determination. Every swing weaves a pattern of silver in the air, disabling many thread puppets in her stride. The battle reaches a fever pitch, limits tested and stakes higher than ever. Pero's strength wanes visibly as Raphtalia maneuvers with skilled resolve, severing through its defenses and leading a miraculous charge with finesse. Finally, Brave Blade. Mist, it explodes upon the foe, a potent spectacle of blinding lightning, ushering in the end as the threads dissipate in defeated chaos. The crowd erupts in a triumphant raucous relief. But as they celebrate, suspicion creeps upon the scene. Murder Pero has vanished in a theatrical exit akin to amateur magic tricks, leaving behind a bewildering mannequin, a testament to the extravagance and eccentricity of their opponent. The victory is theirs, with applause confirming their hard-earned triumph. Nonetheless, Naofumi, Raphtalia, and their team remain vigilant, sensing fragmented machinations behind the merchant's ploys. There is a mix of achievement and an ominous undertow, a lingering belief that the absolute resolve hasn't been fully accounted. Moving forward with declared purpose, they embark toward liberating those that they'd come to protect. This victory isn't simply levied on the pugilistic front, its symbolism vivid in the struggle for those capitalized by the cunning of merchants owning this stage. Their journey presses on, undeterred, armed with integrity and readiness against all the odds. Sardina unleashes her powerful lightning magic, striking down mercenaries like bowling pins. Her quick thinking turns the tide of battle, and soon the entire lot outside the building scurries away. Naofumi wasn't even aware they'd all vanished until Sardina casually points it out. Philo had detected their presence through her acute hearing. The conversation shifts as Naofumi ponders how Sardina managed to hear so well. It dawns on him that Sardina's therianthrope nature might give her a sonar-like ability, similar to dolphins or whales. Sardina reassures them it's all right and gives a nod to Raphtalia to proceed. Inside, they face the unscrupulous merchant responsible for staging the exhibition match. What a mess, Naofumi thinks. The merchant is furious, yet clearly defeated, and not facing his lucky day. Together, they debate over the damaged contracts and the merchant's attempts to explain his duplicity. But Naofumi isn't inclined to listen patiently. Sardina, playing her part, becomes visibly assertive, even grabbing attention in her sarcastic manner. A bantering exchange highlights her resilience to curse magic, much to Naofumi's surprise. The merchant is left speechless by Sardina's audacity and apparent immunity. Then enters Raffle, the accessories dealer, whose timely intervention is both unexpected and significant. He contrasts sharply with the crooked merchant, revealing how aware he's been of every manipulation. It seems the entire underground culture has tracked Naofumi, noting his connection to the Luralona villagers' situation. Their exchanges lead to tension as Raffle has no intention of mishandling future situations. Naofumi, calculating his power among this network, feels confident the rumors will stabilize his position. Raffle prosecutes the confiscation threat, determined to protect his own alliances and family interests. In a strategic gambit, Naofumi evokes his shield hero status with promising leverage, suggesting an alliance while fighting shows his prowess before, if you surrender and play nice, you won't regret it. With the curtain closing on their underground predicament, peace feels within reach. The enslaved villagers, once under Sardina's careful watch, are ready for a return to normalcy. They had all willingly agreed to Naofumi's terms, encouraged by their secure journey home. As they prepare to leave with Naofumi's portal skill, a gentle hum of anticipation builds. The villagers, accompanied by familiarity, prepare to return. Raphtalia seems absorbed and amiable, resonating with a touch of true nostalgia over past events. It's almost like we've just left another world behind, Sardina says, looking hard at Raphtalia. And for a moment, Naofumi feels the tenderness gather like mist among them, lending a moment to breathe before life's next challenge. Reunions strike warm and powerful chords among the villagers, especially for one returning to those they cherish. Naofumi's role isn't just to rescue, he's become their unseen pillar, weaving bonds that grow only stronger over time. Among revelry and rebuilding friendships, the weight of his presence resonates deeper. Despite his grumbles and gruff displays, the lightness takes over. Even Keel's witty remark, "People around here keep saying I drank you under the table," gives way to camaraderie, spiraling camaraderie among villagers into plans of kinship and shared resilience strengthening what's been built. Naofumi, watching the overflow of merriment and begrudging mischief, gives a thoughtful pause. The sight of crowds radiating hope speaks a louder volume he's only just growing wise to understand. It's within those dawning realizations that his promise is wrapped, held between beings who thrive on care and resilience. Sardina chimes in, innocently flirty yet carrying brave, bantering optimism with expressions rawer than Naofumi can recall. Her aptness to lift spirits brands her unique amidst their company, while pointing her humor to Naofumi, stirring blushes that warm the scene considerably. In the playful exchange that bubbles between friendships strengthened by journey and resolve, Naofumi cheers inwardly. "Come on now. Be serious," he lightly scoffs, earning a giggle, contagious whispers that span across his reflective ideals. Raphtalia uses the turmoil to once more return nuance, signaling each close lending for buoyancy, unifying their devotion amid reality's roar, reminders falling laughably sincere. In settings pleased to observe, Naofumi's yearning finds adoption here, within walls tender. "I want nothing more than to bring with us the strength you've shown me." Naofumi's humble acknowledgement rests on the transience of their promise. Resolved in nurturing it beyond future adversaries to come, their tranquility forms the foundation of a shared journey.